Good morning, everybody. Meeting with you bright and early this morning as it's Easter Sunday and I don't want to keep you from your family. And I would love for you to enjoy the day. But here we go. We're going to talk about this morning about the law of the inner circle. And I'm taking a picture of my thing right here. Hold on a second. I'll wait for you to come on anyway. Hold on. Are you there? Good morning. I'm just taking a picture. Hold on one second. Okay, it's kind of blurry, but good morning. How are you? Sorry about that. I needed to take a picture. So happy Easter. Happy Sunday. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to shout out, good morning. Lynn, you're so good at this. You're like completely trained. You know what to do. Don't forget to shout out and put your comments below. This morning we're talking about the law of connection. I had my page turned on. I know that I say this every single day that I love this law, but if you could see my notes and the amount of stuff I have scribbled, you would think this is my favorite law. There's stuff everywhere all over this paper. I'm going to try and give you the goods and the nuts and bolts of the law of connection by John Maxwell. This is really a good law. Okay, so the law of connection, leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. Leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. The law of connection is actually a relationship law. You have to connect emotionally before you can move somebody physically, right? That makes sense, right? If you're going to ask somebody to come with you, or if you're going to ask somebody to do something, you've got to touch them emotionally first. I don't know if you remember back in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. President Bush lost connection with his people because instead of lending a hand, what he did was he actually flew over the devastation sites in his airplane, in Air Force One, and he just looked out the window and he waved. That was his way of trying to connect. These people were hungry. They didn't have any food. They didn't have anything. And he ended up losing this connection because all he did was wave. Fast forward to the same president, President Bush in 2011. You remember 9/11. What did he do differently this time in order to connect with the people? He actually went to ground zero and shook the hands with the survivors, with the workers, with anybody that he came in contact with. And he came live to the nation and he said this, and I quote, "The nation sends its love and compassion to everyone that's here." There's a far cry between flying over somewhere and just sort of acknowledging and saying, "I see you down there," and actually going down to ground zero, being emotionally connected with somebody and putting your feet on the ground of their devastation. And he learned that lesson the hard way, but he went out doing the right thing for 9/11. This is the law of connection. If you're a leader alone at the top, you need to get off of the top and go down to your people, connect with them, and then bring them up with you, raise them up with you. They can't go along with you until they get along with you. They cannot go along with you until they get along with you. Isn't that, that cuts right to the quick, I think, because people have to get along with you in order to be able to go with you. And sometimes I think as leaders, we're so busy leading that we forget to connect. And it's so important to have that connection because otherwise you're not leading. You're just taking a walk. Remember, there's nobody behind you. You're not leading anybody. You're just taking a walk. All right. So here's some questions for you. Do you ask the question, how can I help? How can I help you? A great leader asks what they can do for you. Are you connected with yourself? This means knowing and liking who you are. This is tough, right? This is tough. I don't know about men, but I know this is a hard one for women. And I know that no matter how old you are, it seems like the older you become and the wiser you become, a little bit easier it is for you to like yourself. You don't seem to be in as much turmoil as you are when you're younger. You become more content. And this is a great thing for a leader, to be content with who you are and happy with who you are so that people can be happy with who you are as well. All right, before you connect with others, you must connect with yourself. Reflect on your connection with you and ask yourself, what is your greatest asset? And for those of you that are watching, thank you first off for watching and happy Easter. Can you name what you think your greatest asset is? Throw it down on the comments and we'll discuss it, and we'll put it up here on the screen as well. Are you applying your strengths? I keep looking around. There's a fly right above my camera and it's just zzz. I don't know what it is with bugs in my house lately. I just can't deal with it. Are you applying your strengths? That's what I want to know. Are you applying your strengths? Do you feel like you're applying your strengths? And how can you use these strengths to coach others? All right. So what is your greatest asset? What are your strengths? Are you applying those strengths, and are you using them to coach others? How well do you relate and communicate with other people? How well do you relate and communicate with other people? Okay, so Lynn, I'm going to throw your comment up here. Approachable, honest, and non-judgmental, 100%. Let me just make that a little bit smaller there. A sec. All right. Excellent. Approachable, honest, and non-judgmental. Absolutely. And that is so vital for somebody that you're coaching, right? The last thing you want your clients to do is to be sitting there feeling like they're being judged. There's no way they can be vulnerable and show you their weaknesses, their fears, and all of the things that they need to be coached on if they feel like you're sitting across the desk judging. They need to know that they can be vulnerable with you and that you can raise them up and help pull out their strengths and strengthen their weaknesses so that you can help them grow. All right, how do you speak to their heart? Think of a way that you speak to their heart, to people that you are leading. And for those of you who are watching, I see I've got a couple of eyeballs on. Thank you so much. Don't forget to put some comments down so I can see who's here. And if you have anything you'd like to say, we can talk about it as well. Totally interactive. You're driving this wheel, my friends. You're driving this car. All right, so how do they know and how do they feel? If you're speaking to their heart, how do these people that you're leading know that you're speaking to their heart? And how do you think it makes them feel? All right, what can you do as a coach to project your sincerity and add value to others? Lynn, what do you think that is? What can you do as a coach to project your sincerity and add value to others? I'm going to have a sip of my coffee while you type. All right, how can we add value to other people? What do you guys think that is? All right, so while I know Lynn's typing, I'm not putting you on the spot, Lynn. Maybe a little. Yay! Listen and let them know that you hear them. Absolutely, 100%. Oops, oh my. Hold on, Lynn. You've taken over my screen. Let me get you down here in a little. I can't see how much space there is. Hang on a minute. I'm having technical difficulties. Disappeared. Absolutely 100%. All right. So you can lose the trust of your followers in one split second, one instance of not hearing their heart or their emotion, right? Not hearing their heart or emotion. For an example, we had a viewer yesterday and I knew that I was pronouncing her name wrong, but I didn't know how it was pronounced. So I said what I thought it was and I apologized. And you know what I did after the broadcast? I went straight over to her Facebook page, because on Facebook we can put the pronunciations in of how we say our names. And I learned how to say her name. If she comes on here again, I'll be able to say it correctly. And then I sent her a message and just apologized for pronouncing her name incorrectly. And I appreciated her watching. Those are signs of a good leader, right? We're not too good to own up to making mistakes, and we're not too good to be better. We always have to remember that we are only leading because people are following us. If there wasn't anybody following us, we wouldn't be leading. We would be taking a walk. All right, so ask yourself, has this happened to you? Recall the situations and the reasons why you lost trust. Think about, as a leader, what it is you may have done in the past where you lost trust of the people that you were leading. Okay. And I was very vulnerable with you not that long ago by saying that I leaded a team, and I got so wrapped up in the glory of being the leader and had received so much recognition from the public for the level of leader that I was, that I forgot to bring up the people I was leading. I was focusing on myself and I was not focusing on the team. And that rapidly lost trust with the teammates. And so, you have to learn from this. Remember, we always say fail forward. When you make a mistake, go back and apologize. And, and I did. I went back and I apologized profusely for not being a great leader. And, that it was a learning lesson for me, and that I would implement that into my leadership skills now. And it's very, very important for me to make sure that I'm touching the hearts of the people that I'm leading, and trying to give them everything that they need. And if you don't think I'm doing that, then shout out and let me know, because I want to fail forward and I want to grow, and I need you guys to help me do that. All right. So do you practice what you preach? I can tell you there's a lot of people out there that don't do that. One of the things I always say to people that I coach is, I will never ask you to do anything that I'm not prepared to do myself. That's why you'll never hear me say you need to jump out of an airplane, because I'm not about to do that myself. So I would never ask you to do the same thing. All right. So practice what you preach. Most of the time, let's speak to that, Lynn. Why do you think there's times when you do not practice what you preach? What do you think that's about? You try to. Okay. Let me know why you think that there's times when you don't practice what you preach. Is it a fear? Is there a fear? Or is it that you feel like maybe something's would work for them, but it wouldn't work for you? Or are you telling them to do something because you think it's going to be better for them, but you don't really have the time or the desire to do it for yourself? So Lynn says lack of sometimes. I'm wondering if she means lack of times. Lack of time. All right. What changes do you need to make within yourself to speak from the heart and to the heart? To speak from and to the heart. What changes do you need to make within yourself? Managers treat everybody the same. Leaders treat everyone differently. They inquire and know them intimately to move them outwardly. In order to lead, you need to know your people intimately so you can lead them outwardly, right? Usually managers kind of treat everybody the same, whereas leaders come in, they get to know you, and then they lead you outwardly. Confidence. Yes, Lynn, confidence, individuality. True. All right. I'm turning my notes, my page of notes here. Think about how it is you want to be seen. How do you want to be seen? How do you want people to see you? And that goes a little bit deeper, right? Because you may want to be able to be seen a certain way, but you have to practice what you're preaching. And if you want to be seen a certain way, you have to behave that way. You have to walk that walk. You have to, talk that talk. You cannot want to be seen one way, but you're behaving another way completely differently. That's not how this works. If you're going to lead with strength and dignity and conviction because of the followers that are following you care for, you have got to know who you are as a leader and how you want to be seen, and be authentic to that visual, okay? Have leaders connected with you. Do you find that other leaders are connecting? And discuss the feelings, results, inspirations, and motivations of that. So what does that mean? I read that to be, there are loads of leaders within our community. And now that we're all on the internet, our community has grown exponentially over the last several months. There are loads of leaders. Are they connecting with you? Do they see something in you that they want to have for themselves or would like to have in themselves? Or are you a leader that nobody's paying attention to? Okay. How does it make you feel when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you're a good leader and I would like to work with you, or I would like to get to know you better? How does it make you feel if you're leading and nobody's following? All right. Do you ask questions about their life what their motivations and what their desires are. Now, I know as a coach, and I know there's coaches on here, that's one of the things we do ask. And if we don't ask, then are we really coaching or are we just having a conversation? Okay, in order to coach somebody, you have to know about them. Yes, Lynn says yes. You have to know about them. You have to ask them about their motivations and their desires. So Lynn is a life coach and I'm a business coach. We both coach people, but we coach people differently, okay? Because she is coaching them on their life and I'm coaching them on their business. But we still have to be engaged to know what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And if they don't know, have that conversation. They've got to be motivated. We've got to know them in order to grow them. Oh, we have to know them in order to grow them. We need to write that down. That was good. All right, a leader fails if he does not know his follower. A leader fails if he doesn't know his follower. Guys, we already said this. If you are leading and you look behind you and there's nobody there, you are taking a walk. You are not leading. You are just taking a walk. How can you learn from the people that you are leading? Where are they? How can you find them? How can you listen to them? And how can you connect with them? This is how you move them, your followers, in the right direction because of the behaviors that you have, right? So if you're leading somebody and you've got followers, you have to know if you can learn from them. What can you learn from them? You need to know where they are, how you can find them, how you can listen to them, and how you can move them. In order to be a great leader, you have to be able to do this. Ask yourself, how can you learn? And this is something that you should be asking yourself daily. You should be learning something new every single day, right? You have to grow yourself in order to grow other people. I tell people all the time, I am not the same person I was a year ago. I am certainly not the same person I was 5 years ago. Could you imagine if I was and you were growing and I was the same individual? Would you want anything to do with me? Probably not, because it would be hard work trying to keep up with somebody that's not interested in growth while you're growing like crazy. So figure out what you can learn daily and how you can connect. How can you connect with yourself? Go where your followers are. Communicate with openness, sincerity, knowing your audience, not focusing on you, living your message, believing in them, and giving them hope. These are things as leaders we need to do. And you know what? This is a great thing that we can do actually whilst we're on the internet. We have access to so many tools and so many different demographics and articles and everything else. We can absolutely pour into the people that we are leading. And guys, it only takes a few minutes to post something positive. Get rid of the negativity. Get rid of, let's not focus on the depression and the anxiety of COVID-19. Let's move forward into a channel of hope. A hope for our followers. All right, so that wraps up the law of communication, the law of connection. I didn't even show you my fancy schmancy little thing right here. Hold on one second. Notes. You have notes. Here's some notes right here. We already went through this. Are you connected with yourself? What's your greatest asset? Are you applying your strengths? How well do you relate and communicate with others? And do you like who you are? Are you likable? Okay, you can lose the trust of your followers in one split second, one instance of not hearing their heart or their emotion. We already talked about this. I just want you to see my fancy schmancy slides that I forgot to show you. All right. Okay, so tomorrow, Monday, I don't know where time is going. Have we even had a weekend? I'm missing a weekend. Tomorrow, we're going to start number 11, law number 11, the law of the inner circle. So excited to share that with you. You know, I love doing this because I feel like I might be helping somebody. A leader's potential is determined by those closest to him. All right, the law of the inner circle. And this is a good one because we're throwing that phrase around all the time. My inner circle this, my inner circle that. Let's see what it actually means. A leader's potential is determined by those closest to him. So for tomorrow, think about this. Who lifts you up? Let me see if I have this on my screen. You're very welcome, Lynn. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. So think about who lifts you up, who takes you down, and who is in your inner circle. Prepare for tomorrow. Prepare. We want to know who's lifting you up, who lifts you up, who takes you down, and who is in your inner circle. We will be discussing that tomorrow with the law of the inner circle. I hope that you will come back and follow along as we do this and learn and grow with me. And until then, remember the law of connection. The stronger the relationship you form with followers, the greater connection you forge, and the more likely those followers will be. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Don't forget to have a fabulous happy Easter, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, take care. Thanks.